What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for this week's episode of Persona 5 the animation, and this episode was phenomenal. Now you can say that I'm biased because this is the final episode that's gonna be focusing on Futaba and on like her old, taking her heart. After this, I'll probably do the same thing with filler episodes, or focusing on the other different confidences, and there a little bit of their stuff. Which, I mean, if that's the case, cool. Whatever. Like I said, some of the confidences are really cool. So I just hope that they do focus on Futaba, because like I said, her confidant was really damn good in my personal opinion. But and speaking of confidences that were kind of interesting, guess what? Who starts the episode with motherfucking Akechi? Yay! More Akechi! Yay! Now, granted, his appearance in this one episode is quick and painless, and it kind of serves, and it does kind of show off stuff that will happen later on. So from that perspective, I can understand why. I'll let this one slide. Like I said, I like Akechi. He's a cool character, and for your MLs, I think you'll think the same way when you really see his when we figure out what's up with his backstory and everything. But I'm just not a fan how everyone has been just shoving him in. Now, granted, he hasn't been in every episode, but sometimes he sometimes he has some quick cameos where he's like, okay, here's Akechi. But other times, the subplot he had a few weeks back with Yusuke, it was just pointless. I didn't like it anyway. So we see Akechi. He's pretty much working at he's at the gun shop, pretty much just trying to get info. He's asking the salesman. You guys know they gave us. You guys saw him a couple of extra times. He's pretty much Akechi asked him, hey man, I hear you sell weapons. I hear you sell and buy used goods. He's like, okay, yeah, what you got? He says I don't got anything, unfortunately. He's like, well then come back when you got some shit. And so then we see Akechi. He's just scrolling through his phone, and these are pictures of actually some of the stuff of the Phantom Thieves, of the treasures, or at least when they actually get back from the metaverse, what the treasures actually they had the briefcase along with Kamo Shithead's medal. Now, this does show. Now, this isn't really a spoiler about Taba, but I'm pretty much just showing you that this shows off. Now, I will say I'll give anyone this. Is that this does show that yes, Akechi is starting to gather evidence that will lead him to the identities of the Phantom Thieves, and all that. Which the game didn't really do anything like that. At least not to my memory, where we saw Akechi kind of looking around, gathering evidence against the Phantom Thieves. But I will say from that perspective, this does serve a bit of a purpose. But at the same time, I'm just I think I might have just because I'm just so burnt that anything of Akechi that isn't from the actual game, I'm just oh god, Akechi. But I will say that this one, probably one of the better games because it actually does serve a purpose, not just to appease fangirls. So anyway, so after that we get to Akechi, we get back to Futaba and the crew, which that was the only time we see Akechi. He's not in the rest of the episode, which I'll thankfully for that. We see Futaba, she gets out the gun, she's like, oh, take it, come on, steal my heart. I gotta say, I do love Futaba's Japanese voice. I do prefer her English dub voice actress in my personal opinion, but her Japanese voice actor is also really damn good. This episode was, I love Futaba, I love her backstory. Anyway, so we see, so she says, no, and then, I think it was Akira says no, and she's you tricked me, and then goes right back into the closet. So it was hilarious. Everyone's like, she doesn't know how stealing hearts and the metaverse works, does she? They all got you guys agree no, and then they tell her, hey, well, we all you need to do was just open the door for us. She's straight through this Temple of Doom, where you gotta or it's where you gotta shove her hand, they're legit steal her heart, or Mortal Kombat, or it's just where as a fatality, you just rip it out of there. Anyway, so after that we get back. After that we get them back to the palace. They got where they actually Ryuji puts the calling card through the little crack in the door in the closet, and he just tells Futaba to read it. He's like, it's too dark in here to read, and okay, then come out. And then Morgana's like, man, I got you. I'll make sure she reads it. And Ryuji takes leave Morgana by there with Futaba. And so Futaba reads it, and it's Futaba Sakura, you are sin with sloth, or blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm not gonna explain the whole thing for you guys. And then after that, of course, she's like, my head, and then her shadow is aware of this, of course, now leading open the door so that they can steal the treasure. And then Morgana's like, yes! And then she gets Futaba gets free on lands and she's like, kitty! I said I love Futaba. Every time she's on screen, I always enjoy. So anyway, we get back to the main gate. We get back to the crew. They're going inside the palace to, de-seal our Futaba's heart. And they got that killer OST. They got the boss theme, or the final day when you when you do take someone's when you're about to take someone's heart, they play that scene. Oh, I love that song. Yeah, I love that song. Like I said, I love Persona 5's OST as a whole. The OST is phenomenal in this game, and I love that the animators were using it. Anyway, so they get in there. They find out that that their boss battle isn't particularly Futaba's Shadow, which I gotta say, Futaba's Shadow is really interesting because, you see most shadows, and they're just the distorted versions of a person's style. Kanshiro, he was all about that greed. For Yusuke, I forget the dude's name is slipped my mind right now, but when we had to Yusuke, he was all about greed. Kanshiro was about gluttony, about him being, and of course, Kama Shithead was all about lust. Futaba's Shadow, while it is a distortion of her desire about, I killed my mom, I killed my mom, I killed my mom, I killed my mom, but at the same time, her shadow is also at the same time helping her, trying to get her out of this, and, trying to fix her life and get her out of these distorted desires. Which you can see throughout later on this episode when she's telling when she's telling remember Futaba, remember what actually happened, which I'll talk more about when we get to that part. But I really do dig Futaba's Shadow because it seems like she's actually also trying to help real life Futaba to finally to have her remember what really happened, not this distorted version of how she thinks the events went down because of everything that she's been through. This is another reason why I love Futaba so much. Is not only because she's best girl, she's a redhead, as our past. It's just because her backstory is so interesting and how her shadow works compared to the other shadows from the other people that the fantasies are. Futaba's overall just a very interesting character, in my personal opinion, anyway. And that's probably one of the main reasons why I do consider her best girl in P5. Anyway, so after that, they get in there, they take down what's the boss battle is her mother, Futaba, or at least the storyboard. She's like, no, you killed me, Futaba, and so they try to take her out. We see Futaba, she's in her room, she looks at her phone, she's like, okay, metaverse, let's see how it works. So she's like, Futaba Sakura, Sojiro's house, Sojiro Sakura's house. She pretty much enters the metaverse herself. She gets in there, and when we get in, so she gets in there, gets in the metaverse, she looks around, she ends up meeting up with the Phantom Thieves, where then she meets up with, of course, her mother sees her, and then she's like, no, you killed me, you killed me, you killed me, you bitch, you killed me, you should never be born, blah, 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 I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, that's already hurt. And this is what I said, this is what I mentioned earlier about Futaba's Shadow. She actually starts helping her out, excuse me, because, Futaba then kind of goes to holds her hand and goes down to the ground, and she starts tearing up a bit, and and this is when we get to Futaba's Shadow. She actually we get back to we see the hieroglyphics of the show of Futaba's life, at least from her distorted perspective. Like I said, her mom saying being like, oh mom, let's go out, and he's like, no, I'm working, you bitch. The suicide note, all that shit. Where we actually find out that her shadow tells Futaba. Rather than suicide, oh, I wish you'd never been born. I wish you would never have been born. You were you were always a pain. Blah 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 blah. You were a nuisance. I could never work. You guys have already heard it. I don't need to reiterate it. That's what the suicide note said. That these adults did send. But then for her shadow, it's did that really happen? Remember the events of how that went down. What he said when she said, when she did say, about what she did ask her, why don't we just go out this time? And then she says it, and it's Mom, I can't right now. I'm busy. I'm working on this research. It's almost done. This research is very important to me. And once I'm done with it, I'm almost done with it, we'll take you wherever you want. Yeah. Futaba's mom never did never hated her. She never did anything. She never abused her. She never did. Her real name is slipping my mind right now, but Futaba's mom, we all see this one shot of XCFC, you look at a picture of her, her name is slipping my mind right now, but she says, Futaba realized that yes, her mom did love her, with all her heart, even when she was raised by herself with the hell of Sojiro. She always loved her. She never once hated her. She never wished she was never been born. And that's when Futaba realizes that that suicide note was forged by those adults. Remember what I said last week in my last review where I said, like, no, you thought that's bad? Just wait till you see what happens later. This is what I'm talking about. These motherfuckers actually force a suicide note, just making it all seem like it's Futaba's fault, just so they can get our research. Now some of you guys are like, Jesus Christ, Glenn, what the fuck? What the hell is the point about this research? I'm not going to spoil it for you. You anime onlys are going to have to wait till the anime tells you. Because like I said, it does get interesting. Like I said, the second half of this series is when shit gets real. Like, you've already seen parts of it with Futaba, but, you know, when we get to see ICC Haru get introduced, and of course the final bad guy, like I said, that's when shit really hits the fan. And so, like, it was heartbreaking watching it, but I was like, yeah, I can't wait. I can imagine the anime onlys were so surprised when they watched this. They were like, what? Like I said, yeah, like, I mean, this just shows you what people will do for fucking research, and, like, you know, how far people will go for some shit. They'll go so far as to traumatize a little girl just to get their hands on it. Motherfuckers. Ay. Anyway, so, you know, Futaba realizes that her mom did love her with all her heart, and that she did care for her, and never once ever thought she was a nuisance, or, like, you know, wished, or just, like, never been born, blah 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 blah, like, or that she killed her. Futaba realized it was never her fault. It was these shitty adults' fault for what they did, you know, like I said, forging that suicide note. And so after that, Futaba awakens to her persona, which is of course a UFO, because as we know, she's a massive fucking nerd. Like I said, she has Power Rangers posters and figures in her room, and but now, granted, this was like in the game, then okay, but I swear it was like this game where we actually see, like, when her spaceship does come down and then she actually awakens to it, tentacles come out and pick her up and drag her in there, like, almost like, where so I was like, oh my god, A1, really? Now, granted, if it was like this in the game, then fair enough. But I don't think it happened in the game like this. My memory could be wrong, and it did happen like this. Like, you couldn't just have her float inside there like as a monster. You couldn't have, like, a crane show up and pick her up. No. You fuckers had to put in technicals because yeah. Why, A1? Why did you need to do that? Now, granted, if it happened in the game, then it's fair enough. But seriously, I don't think it did. And whatever, who knows. So then she answers back, and she's like, okay, since this is my own palace, hacking into it won't be too hard. And because, like, they can't, because actually when Futaba did show up, the families couldn't get her. And we also couldn't get her because she was so high up in the air. So she ends up creating, like, this little catapult thing with the spear in it, and has to finally take down her distorted mom. So they end up uses it, and she manages to kill the beast. We also got this cool shot when she does get in the UFO and all the families together, and the shot looks pretty good. Granted, when you look at Akira and the art does look a little off on him. Now, for overall, the art animation was pretty good. But there were a couple times where it did look bad in a couple spots. Like I said, right there, it looked there. There were a couple extra spots, but I'd say overall, the art animation was pretty good. The animation, I think, overall has been really good for the series. It's mostly just the art that has had some hiccups here and there. So they take her down, and then we see after the beast is finally tamed and defeated, we see like this ghost, I guess that's like figure of Futaba's real mom, and my heart! Oh man, it was like this episode, like these last times have not just been talking about it, like this has been like pulling on him, like hard, like oh man, it was like, and then she's like, no, she pretty much just says, I love you, Futaba, this is what you're meant to do, and she's like, and it's like, goodbye, Futaba, and she's like, wait, but I'm just not getting to see you again. I'm like, my heart! Anyway, after that, Futaba manages to get rescued, but as soon as they come back, she actually passes out because let's be honest, since we know that she's a shonen, she has probably like shit stamina, because she like immediately like goes like knocked out on her bed. They call up Takemi, which is like, we get to see a little Takemi, which this actually also happened in the main game. This isn't like a part of like the shoved in, or this is like the main game. They're like, she's fine, but she does like muscle for her age, blah 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 blah. Sojuro's like, oh yeah, this is normal. This happens, like, sometimes when she drains all her energy, she just, like, just sleeps for like a good couple days. But then they manage to steal her. So they get back in there. So they all take their leave, and then Soju actually hands them this ticket to, I think it was called like the Sky Tower, I think it was. Which I was like, this is when we do see Sojiro do turn around on us, and when we do see Sojiro just become off. Like I said, I love Sojiro, and this is where it started when he realized after he saved Futaba, which was like, oh, I love my man Sojiro. So they go in there, they have their little fun. Mako's leaves this like little stuffed. He's like this mascot creature. See this mascot? He's like, and then the song, the new PS Persona 5 OC plays, and he's like, I must take a picture with it. So they have to have their little fun, and then we get back. We see some other parts of Sai where Sojiro explains, or that she's actually in there for her research for Futaba's mom research cognitive science, but it's actually spelled PCI, the rest science. I forget how it's pronounced differently, but I'm just gonna keep calling it science because I forget how it's actually pronounced. So I'm just gonna keep calling it cognitive science because that's pretty much what it is. So they go in there. Futaba's like, oh, it's actually pronounced like this, and she's like, Sojiro, I hunger, and Sojiro just kind of looks at her, and he actually like covers his eyes, which you could tell that he was crying because Futaba finally is out of the house. She's finally living in society along with other people, not just locked in her room all day. Which that was a nice, cool little moment for Sojiro. And so afterwards, they end up deciding, to celebrate Futaba finally getting out of her goddamn room and actually, living and becoming one society, almost, I guess you could say. They decide to take her to the sushi restaurant, and he explains that, that Futaba, her mom, and Soju would often come here, and it was like bringing back good memories. So they had the sushi, well, Futaba's like, wolfing down her sushi. She's like, I'm going to and she's like, bathroom! She's like, oh, and then at the end, of course, we actually a slightly new DD instead of the, we actually see the first half is like showing the episode counter, and then going to the next episode with the knife throw, which is how it happened in the game to explain, like, hey, we have reached the next day. And then afterward, we get the UTG where we got the figures, where we got the crew, walking. This time it's in color. Looks pretty damn good in color. But, in the post-credits scene, we actually see Morgan be like, he starts lifting up different types of sushi, which I was like, because, I played the game, or Mark's Let's Play of it, and I'm just going to tell you right now, Morgan never got the sushi. He never does. He never does get the sushi, ever. My man Morgan just never gets sushi. Like, every time they do go to sushi, and Morgan's like, where's my sushi? He's like, oh, I forgot, or oh, I ate it, or oh, something like this. Poor Morgan, the man never gets a sushi. Anyway, so overall, I give this episode a 10 out of 10. It was phenomenal. Fantastic art, fantastic voice acting, like always. The art animation was pretty good. Nice seeing Futaba, just seeing the rest of her, of her storyline of stealing her heart and all that stuff. But and she does take care of Medjed. I forgot to mention it, but we actually found that Medjed, that she was actually the creator of Medjed. She was the OG original Medjed, but then other people started taking over the moniker, and she really just gave up. And Ryuji's like, wait, we're worried about a bunch of half-witted dipshits. Yep. And then they started asking questions like, how did you learn how to talk? She's like, classify. How would you learn this? Classify. How long have you been doing this? Classify. Like, she doesn't let on anything, which I don't know if the game's gonna tell us when, because I remember the game, or the anime state. The game, they never really explains, how she learned how to hack, how she learned all these skills. Granted, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but, maybe the anime might, give us an answer to that. It may have a possible flashback or something, which, who knows? So overall, I give this episode, I don't know if it says or, but if I did already, then forgive me. Anyway, I give this episode a 10 out of 10, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Follow me, scan Twitter, fellas, leave down below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.
She's too